What is one of the first things you need to bake a cake? Sure, ingredients are important, but they're only useful if we have a recipe to follow. Similarly, every living thing requires a guideline in order to be formed. This guideline is provided by deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA for short. DNA is made of three components: a sugar part, a phosphate part that forms the backbone, and a part called a nitrogen base. Just like the alphabet, there are only 4 different nitrogen bases in the language of DNA: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. The specific order of these letters in the DNA creates the instructions in the recipe, which are called genes. Fun fact! You have so many genes in your body that even scientists have not been able to find and name all of them. Genes in DNA can be affected by something called mutations. The idea of mutations can be understood when making a cake. What would happen if a recipe told you to use salt instead of sugar? A disaster! Similarly, mutations are like typos in the DNA guideline, which can cause differences in the bodies of living things. Imagine if you swap one letter for another while typing a word. Sometimes it doesn't make much of a difference, but other times it can change the meaning entirely. Just like that, if the letter A is switched to the letter G, sometimes it may not make much of a difference, while other times it might change the implications when building a part of the body.
Oh, wow!
These typos can lead to differences in how living things look or function, a concept known as phenotypic polymorphism. It's like variations in a recipe that results in different flavors of a cake. For example, have you ever wondered how trees have different characteristics despite being the same age and living in the same forest? The differences between different trees result from the interaction of various factors, including something known as genetic diversity. But what is genetic diversity, and how does it really happen? Genetic diversity consists of the differences in characteristics of living things that occur due to changes in their DNA. For example, a gene in different groups of hornbeam trees has changed over time. These changes, or mutations in the gene, can make hornbeam trees grow to different heights. So some hornbeam trees end up taller, and others end up shorter, depending on the specific mutations they have in this gene. This is a simple way to show how tiny changes in genes can lead to noticeable differences in different groups of living things. But how do the variations influence the survival of living things and their future generations? This is where natural selection comes into play. Natural selection is like a process where living things with traits that fit their environment well are more likely to survive. This is similar to the process of selling cakes in a bakery. Imagine walking in a bakery filled with different flavors of cakes. Customers come and choose the types of cake they like the most. Over time, the baker notices which types of cakes are the most popular and decides to make more of those. Fit traits in living things are like the popular cake flavors. They get picked more often. These traits are able to be passed from fit parents to their children. For example, a mutation in a hornbeam tree gene could make its leaves better at absorbing sunlight, which may give it fit traits like being taller and stronger than the other trees. On the other hand, living things with mutations that don't fit the environment well may find it harder to survive. They are like cake flavors which the bakery stops to make.
Aww.
So, natural selection is like the decision-making process of the bakery, choosing which cake flavor will stay and which will go. This process, also known as survival of the fittest, shapes the genetic diversity in living things by selecting the traits which give them a higher chance of survival, which can be consequently passed down generation by generation. So let's review what we've talked about. DNA is a guideline that decides the characteristics in living things. Mutations can change this guideline to cause different characteristics in living things. This could lead to genetic diversity, which could be shaped by natural selection. Natural selection is nature's way of deciding which traits are helpful and which aren't. It's like a survival contest where the environment picks the winners. The living things with helpful mutations that fit their environment well might live longer and have more babies, passing on those good traits. On the flip side, not so helpful mutations might make it tough for some to survive and have babies, so those traits could fade away over time. This process slowly sculpts the look and abilities of living things as generations pass. And now, you should know about DNA, genetic diversity, and natural selection.
Thank you.